A few years ago, I made a video on Need for Speed World, and even today, that game still holds a special place in my mind as one of my favorite online racing games. From the combined Most Wanted and Carbon maps, to the unique power-up system, the team escapes, the—
Cut, hold up a moment, Mr. Xbus. This is not your channel, what are you doing here?
But I was already working on something for this game. Perhaps I can maybe just join you on working on this video?
Well, now that you say it like that, we can roll with that. But first, I'd like to start off with this bit, if I can, of course.
A lot of you have probably heard of Need for Speed World before, but for those that haven't, this was a MOBA racing game from EA back in 2010, developed by QuickTime Games, which was essentially whatever was left of Black Box Studios. It lasted for multiple years until it shut down in 2015, along with many of EA's other free-to-play titles, but a whole bunch of passionate community members managed to find a way to resurrect the servers and make the game playable, even to this day. The game and community have been growing for years, and new things keep getting added from all the different servers, and today we want to showcase some of those new and exciting things to you guys. One small disclaimer is that we played on the World United server, as that one has the majority of the changes that we're going to be talking about, but other servers such as Night Riders and Free Roam Spark server can offer completely unique experiences themselves, so be sure to try them out as well. The first thing to mention is certainly one of the coolest, as for the 10-year anniversary of this game shutting down, the southern connector roads that were blocked off have now been opened up and fully modeled, which is amazing as something like this hasn't been seen before with Need for Speed World. They aren't that long to drive on, but the fact that this is doable opens up the room for more possibilities, such as expanding the map and adding a racetrack at the top of Camden Beach, which you can race on with your friends or just host a car meet in the massive parking lot next to the track. I asked some of the modding team to give their own input on how they feel about the state of World United. Sultan Kosmetov, the one responsible for most of the new world models, has mentioned that their main goal is to make the new stuff fit the map more seamlessly, so it looks like it was always there to begin with, and when driving on these new roads, you could probably fool someone for just that. As for what the future holds, he said it's obviously difficult taking into account what the community wants, but he did tease the release of at least a full-on racetrack and, in his words, a humble but more familiar map expansion. I wonder what that is supposed to be.
But this is only the beginning of all the new things you will encounter, as when you retreat from the action and enter your garage, you'll be met with a laundry list of quality of life improvements. From the moment you buy your first car, you will find out that some hidden stats, like the car's nitrous power, weight, and its collision multiplier, are now, well, no longer hidden. Those last two stats in particular are very useful against cops, oink, what a launch, or other drivers. But it doesn't stop there. In the dealership, you can also see both the achievable and recommended car class for that specific model, together with a small description, and my personal favorite of them all, the difficulty counter. Make no mistake, as this is a fairly accurate determination of a car's controllability. A low difficulty often means it's easy to drive and grippy like the cars from vanilla Need for Speed World, while higher difficulty levels can vary wildly, from cars that take 3 to 5 business days to turn, to cars that will slide around a lot. And if you want my recommendation, look no further than the Shelby Cobra 427, a mind-bendingly fast car that will try to murder you if you look at a corner the wrong way, and currently the only 10 out of 10 difficulty car in the entire game. Or is it? This surprising variety in how all the cars drive, as well as the fact that they're pretty much all viable for at least something, is something that Kalion, one of the server's car setup makers, has stated as one of his personal favorite things of the server, and I just can't help but agree with that. Add the ability to use a manual gearbox in free roam as some icing on the cake, and you have yourself one of the most interesting and varied driving experiences of any Need for Speed game.
Volkswagen, das Auto.
Bonk. That guy just died.
When you're all set up to start racing, you'll not only find a ton of new race events, but the race events now have 2 different colors. You have blue events which you can use power-ups in, while the yellow one disables them, so it's just a battle of skill and machinery. All of them also have leaderboards on the server's website, and if you want to try hard like Xbus and hunt the time attack on a specific track, you can always find them in the top left corner of the map. Team Escape races can now have 8 players instead of 4, and the events themselves are way more insane with lots more cops to tackle. What? I am literally indestructible in this thing. Opa! Jesus! Opa! Thank you.
Speed boost! Nuke! I just sent up forward like so far.
Doink. Oh. Yo. Yo.
There are way more cop cars added, which ties in with the heat level, which now goes up to level 10. The AI feels a lot more intense the higher it goes, and pursuits are now way more intense in general, with increased and more aggressive cop spawns which you might either like or dislike.
I personally like the revamped cops, also to kind of compensate for the power-ups here, but not everyone else does, which is honestly fair. And the other servers mentioned earlier do have, from my experience, a more vanilla cops experience, if you still prefer that.
For both racing and pursuits, new power-ups are added, such as a bribe for when you get close to being busted, Crazy Turbo which gives you insane acceleration but reverses your steering, or Smoke Bomb, which is just a smoke bomb.
Which is obviously the best perk in the game, because you can pretend you are a rumored rider from the latest TXR game. And in races with lots of traffic, you can actually get people to make mistakes and plant their car's nose into a nearby traffic car.
You may have also noticed the different HUD styles, which you can change in the aftermarket shop. For some reason, it's in the same place as the stance kits, but it probably required some kind of dark magic to be made possible anyway. But if that wasn't enough, try clicking on the clock icon on the bottom right corner of your screen, as that now opens up a small acceleration measurement tool. And if that is not enough for you, look no further than the drift cars, a special class made up of modified cars with very low grip stats, kinda similar to Unbound's Drift Pro tires, and they even have their own scoring system like the other black box Need for Speed games have. Apparently the scoring thing required even more dark magic to work, and it's only visible for yourself now, but for a game that was never intended to have any drift racing, it's still a very cool feature. The drift races are also still based on finishing positions, though it is kinda funny to see everyone struggle to get their cars around the corner while using them.
Now, for those of you who played during the game's vanilla days, you may have seen that speed boost is back in the game. But before you get a whiplash effect from how pay-to-win vanilla world was, you don't have to worry about your wallet here, as instead you earn it by racing in weekly time attacks or special events. For each week, the game gives you 2 free time trial cars for the entire week to use in these events, but you can also just bring your own car. Doing a time trial in the specified car and getting below the required time once gets you 500 speed boost, 4 times gives you 1000, and 7 times provides 1500. And since there are 2 of them, you can get up to 6000 each week. You can then use the speed boost to buy certain new cars early before they become available for regular in-game currency, or special presets like the Royal Purple variants, which can be completely different from their stock counterparts. Like this BMW M3 GTR race car that has so much downforce it refuses to consent to its wheels leaving the ground. And staying on the topic of upgrades, skill mods have received a bunch of balance changes, including the removal of a few useless ones, which have been refunded, and the addition of new ones mainly to support the new power-ups. Both Dove and I got quite some cash from those refunded skill mods, and with so much money in our hands, we did exactly what a responsible adult would do. Gambling!
Gold, gold, gold.
Gold, gold, gold! Anyway, another change is that some cars may have less skill mod slots available to them. For example, some cars may have a unique miscellaneous performance upgrade to squeeze a little bit more performance out of them at the cost of a skill mod slot. But in some very rare cases, a car can have less skill mod slots to instead be equipped with exceedingly powerful and unique skill mods. One of the examples I have is this Porsche 911 GT3 RS with a perk that increases the duration of the Ghost Spiral by a comically high 300%, effectively giving you a permanent soft no clip. And lastly, have you ever had that frustrating feeling of being just 1 or 2 performance points short when using parts from your inventory, or just want to change the color of your part without spending a ton on a new one? Well, thanks to the new adjustment system, that's no longer a problem. A change that seemingly flew under the radar for most, but a very welcome addition to the game.
Now it's time to get back to the racing, and in both of our streams, there was plenty of action throughout them. But you can also try and make your own style of events like me and my friends did. And if you have played Dirt 3 in the past, you probably know what the cat and mouse game mode was like. But for those who don't, well, how about I just show you?
Get this bastard, get this bastard.
Opa!
Oh my god. No, you don't. Oh! Yo, and I landed it as well. On top of Strudel. And if all of this is still not enough, you can sometimes find special events that often involve new and exclusive cars, like this Demon Swap Dodge Charger that performs exactly like you would expect. You can even reenact moments from Need for Speed Most Wanted and Carbon through the Challenge series. But with how difficult the AI in these races can be, I usually see players call this the CBT series, with your opponents sometimes reaching absurdly high speeds, though this is compensated for by their lack of staying in control of the car, which can lead to some valid and hilarious crash outs. But yeah, the fact that this is still one of my personal favorite Need for Speed games to this day, as well as the fact that Dove ended up streaming this plenty more times after I got him back into the game, and all of our viewers that joined us in them, should be enough for me to say that, as of right now, Need for Speed World is in the best state it has ever been.
Overall, there's plenty of new content and cars to try out in here, and it's awesome to see how much love and passion the modders have for their project. And like we said before, a few members of the modding team gave their own inputs on what they thought about the current state of World United, which we incorporated into this video, but we saved one of them for last, a statement from Bo, which we specifically wanted to read out in full.
I think what has happened recently with the introduction of map expansions has opened a door previously locked to us. This is still something in its early stages, but what we've been able to add is already matching developer quality. I'm proud of the team because this isn't a full-time job to any of us. We do it for the love of the game. Even though we set big standards for ourselves, I still manage to see incredible stuff being created for the game. Especially with the current state of the franchise, I think we're not just reviving an old MMO racing game, but also keeping the franchise alive when it seems EA is partially unwilling to do so.